have three major things to say. One, the people deserve the leadership they elect into office. Having elected this particular government into office, they have enjoyed our trust to carry out their manifesto. Whether or not they fail is in the hands of God to judge. Water does not rise above its level. We knew the antecedents of this man when he was a military head of state, yet we chose him. We should cope with our choice and allow him to rest. He's sick right now. We should pray for him to get well. They should just leave him alone. If we want to say anything or react in any way, you wait until the next election and you can vote him out or retain him. So once we have exercised our franchise at the forum of the election, I think we should just keep quiet. We talk too much. If anybody wants to help the administration, they should be able to make their input in one way or the other, officially or unofficially, in guiding them and suggesting what to do. But once we elect them into power, we let them do what they want to do. They may not meet up with our expectation, but we knew who they were before we elected them. Israel had a theocracy, but when they said they wanted to be like other nations, and they allowed politicking to subsist, then they had to cope with it. God said, give them the king they want, but warn them what the king will do to them. All that were predicted by Samuel came to happen in the life of the Israelites. So it's a democracy, government of the people, by the people, for the people, minus God. That's what we are running. So if Buhari has been put into office, be patient for the next 4 years. If we don't learn our lesson by repeating him or people like him, then that will be our own problem. So we should not bother ourselves talking too much as far as that is concerned. I think it's a lesson for us in the future. I will not say whether it's good or whether it's bad, not because I don't have my views, but because I believe that Nigerians have suffered enough and they should be wiser than before. If 2019 is around the corner and people still choose to allow themselves to be misled, then that's their problem. If you want to blame Buhari, Jonathan also, are you also going to absolve him of all the problems that he created there? All of them have failed. Every one of them, they have failed and come short of the glory of God and the expectations of man. And none of them deserves to be commended. I don't compare people. People come on their own. In the university system, unlike in the primary school where somebody took first position, second position, last position, in the university you are rated on your own. You get your degree that you deserve, that you work for. So I think we should assess them on their own merit. And I think both leaders have not done well. And I think it's a punishment for us because we opened our eyes in electing them. And we kept quiet when they were stealing our resources and we couldn't protest where we ought to have spoken. Now we are suffering. Our jobs are not available for the students, for the children who have graduated, and people are suffering everywhere. Even the Muslims are complaining in the north. If we still have an opportunity in 2019 to think and to re-strategize, to take power in the hands of good people, then if we don't do it, then we'll suffer for as long as we are foolish. We have no leaders at the moment to even take over from them. So Buhari is not the issue. The issue is who replaces him right now. Do we have any leader among the Igbos? The Igbos have no leaders. After Nazi Azikwe, none. Yorubas, ever since Awolowo died, Yorubas have never had a leader. Tinubu is just wasting his time. He's not accepted by anybody. So we have no leader. And the Hausa Fulani cannot say they have a leader. Who's speaking for them? None. After Sadana, we have not built leadership. No men of ideas. This is a book, Voice of Wisdom by Obafemi Awolowo. Voice of Courage, Obafemi Awolowo. Voice of Reason, Obafemi Awolowo. Path to Nigerian Progress, Obafemi Awolowo. My March Through Prison, Obafemi Awolowo. Traverse of Democracy and the Rule of Law, Obafemi Awolowo. Thoughts on Nigerian Constitution, Obafemi Awolowo. My Early Life, Obafemi Awolowo. Strategy and Tactics. This man, Obafemi Awolowo, everywhere. A thinker, a man of ideas. He's dead, but these are his books. I'm going to read them because the church leaders have to be. The church has to produce leadership for this country. Martin Luther was a Reverend Baptist gentleman, and he led the revolution in America that put the blacks where they are today. Where are the men of ideas now? Whose books can you point out here? Not a single one. So it's not a question of joining the public to be condemning one government or the other. If you don't like a government, throw that government out. In the city of the blind, the single man will continue to reign. As far as I'm concerned, all the political parties, they are just a calamity. We are not anywhere. We are not even on track to freedom or to development. We are in trouble. So this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. We need to look for men of ideas and forget about religion and tribalism. I was preaching at Yenagoa just last week, and I was telling them, here in Yenagoa, you are celebrating that he brought Christianity to the Niger Delta. Are you aware he brought Christianity to Igbo land? And I said he was a Yoruba man. He was the bishop on the Niger station at Onitsha. Translated Bible into Igbo language. Developed Igbo letters, alphabet. He went to Niger Delta, became bishop at Bonny, Yoruba man. Can it happen today? Even in our churches, can it ever happen today? Can we elect a very good priest from Owerri and say, come and be bishop of Ibadan? Can it happen? If you don't want hypertension for yourself, you don't even bother yourself joining in that argument. We are not competent to assess because we have no access to the facts of the matter. I am not going to be blaming anybody one-sided or not one-sided. The truth is that EFCC is the only organ working in Nigeria. All the ministries have collapsed. Infrastructure collapsed. Governments at the center collapsed. If they are the only ones doing something, they can't handle everybody everywhere. The little they are doing should be supported. If they can widen their scope, we should put machinery in motion to widen the scope. There are too many people stealing. Everywhere, at every level. Everywhere, every level, they are stealing. Instead of sitting down and just wasting our time, it's one-sided, it's not one-sided. I don't think a bishop should get involved with partisan discussions. I deal with ideas and not people. I don't have time for the institutions. EFCC is a product of the government, and they are doing their little. Whatever they have done, whatever good, we record it against them, and when their tenure passes, they continue. If other people think they want to glorify corruption, that's their problem. But I really don't think much impact is being made everywhere, anywhere. I think we're still on ground zero, at ground zero, as far as getting us out is concerned. Corruption is still going on, but at least there is some fear in the heart of the people. But what we need is more than war against corruption. People want food on their table. They want good jobs. They want security. They want health care. They want virtually the basic necessities in life. And we have money to still do them, despite the fact that they've stolen most of our wealth. God has blessed us so mightily. There's no reason why we should be where we are. So I think we should just not join the multitude to complain and to grumble. Why don't we fix our own problems? Where we are, some countries were there before. They picked themselves up in Japan, they did in Malaysia, they did in Philippines. How come we are where we are? We have no excuse to be where we are. Roads are not tagged. NEPA has still not been able to supply electricity. The so-called champions of leaders, like Fashola, for example, was making so much noise in Lagos. Now he's in the federal something. What is the impact in every area he's handling? He's telling you that his problem is very endemic. But the first thing, let us try to make sure that Nigeria remains one. That's the primary thing now, that we will remain one. You can imagine when people have if somebody like the Chief of Army Staff could be announcing that there are rumors of intended coup, then we have a serious problem of unity. Let's deal with the principal issues of our existence and the terms of existence, whether we remain as a nation or not. Let's do everything to prevent us going to war, because we cannot. These people who are exploiting us are the ones who are going to lead us into this evil. So let us try to prevent this by managing the incompetencies, managing the problems we have until we organize ourselves to replace them. But are we really on the way to replacing them? 2013 is around the corner. Who is talking? It's not the same politicians. Those who are men of ideas, who can get us out, they are not talking. You are expecting too much from Muhammadu Buhari. He was the president of these headsmen. He was their patron of the headsmen causing crisis. He's a part of them. When the headsmen caused havoc in the southwest there, and they were reprimanded, he was the one that led the delegation to come and protest before the governor was there. So if his people are the ones who are doing this, it tells you his loyalty and his alliances. One thing we need to understand: ethnicity and religion, these two powerful forces, are dominant when leaders are in power. In Islam, there's no separation between politics, and religion. And so when they are in power, it is their own perceived divine mandate to take over and to dominate. What the headsmen are doing cannot be separated from what the Boko Haram have as an agenda. Imposition of Sharia and Islamic law everywhere. The headsmen are only camouflaging. Excuses that are given, whether they are from Nigeria or from Chad, while they are in this territory and they are supposed to be subject to our own law and our law enforcement agencies, there's a collaboration at the top. The grand agenda is to use every means possible, forceful, psychological, systemic, to be able to take over the country. Look at their government appointments, dominated by the Muslims. Recently, I was reading on the pages of newspaper, new appointments into the board of the Federal College of Education, 90% Muslims. Where we have educated people in the south and the east, everywhere. So there's an agenda to Islamize, to take over this country. The same agenda is global. We need to go back to that national, global Islamic agenda. Go back to the national agenda that the governments are executing. That's what we should be saying. Those to be talking should be the churchmen, but the church leadership, apart from occasional statements reported on the pages of newspapers, nothing has been done to strategize. Nothing has been done to really know what to do as a response for the survival of the church. And don't let us forget, we lost North Africa, we lost Asia Minor because of the complacence of the church. Today, we are there, and they are making their inroads, they are making their advancements, and they are gaining ground. In London today, the mayor is a Muslim, and Barack Obama, his name is Hussein. He was president of America, and he had Islamized by putting key Muslim people, American people, whites, in strategic places. So there's an agenda for global takeover, and that is succeeding. Instead of us to face it frontally, we are busy minding church matters, church politics, church money, and other things, and we're not dealing with this issue. So this issue of Fulani herdsmen, they are simply Islamizers who are trying to take over the land of the people. The northern oligarchy trying to take over the middle belt, trying to move to the west, to the east. Unfortunately, even the east now is capitulating, because now you have strong Muslim community in Ebonyi and other areas there. Very soon you see mosques everywhere. They're giving scholarships, they're marrying our daughters, and they're giving children to Islam, and they are trying to see what has happened that they under the Chibok, the Chibok get issue, and a lot of evils are happening. Southern Kaduna, who has spoken? The church has not spoken loud enough. We've taken no decision. Even if we speak, all we do is to talk. Have we taken any action to protect our own people? I can tell you that I support the laws that are being passed by the state governments in the middle belt, banning this open grazing. If not because people protested. And the national law, they were trying to amend it to give them right to own land all over this country. You cannot go as a southerner, Christian, to the northern part and ask for permission for land. They won't give it to you. But now you want to now have recognized in the constitution right to rule and to have bases in other people's territory. And we are so gullible. Our men in the Senate and the Christians in the House of Representatives, because of the Paschal site of office, they are keeping quiet and compromising the integrity and the destinies of the Christian population in the future. They are committing crime against Christ and against the church. It's a terrible problem we are facing right now, and we need to look at it from that perspective.
I have the assurance that you enjoyed that chat I had with the Right Reverend Professor Dapo Asaju on this episode of The Exclusive. And I urge you to join me next time on this station to bring in possibly on another topic, on another area of focus. I want to say thank you and God bless you. I am Korede Akitunde. Bye.